Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, you all enjoyed the sister chat we just did, and of course, we're going to continue this conversation on why a lot of women stay in unhealthy and or unhappy in relationships or marriage, for that matter. Continue to comment, and if you're just joining us, make sure you do share the video with your community on Facebook. And on that note, we'll continue the conversation. So let's talk about the solutions to this. What are some of the solutions we can do as society in order to help women and to change the mindset of all of us as Africans? Saying munyal, patient is just you get upset, things go wrong, you guys fight, you leave your own house, you go to your parents' house, the next day they take you back. There's nothing done differently. Maybe they sit the guy down, talk to him for a few minutes, and that's it.
Juga, I think for me, before we even address some of these solutions and what should be done and how it should be done, the one thing that I forgot to mention in the first part of the show was the number one problem why women choose to stay in marriage. And this is my own theory, okay? Everyone can have their own theory. For me, I think it's actually more of finances. Just because they're scared that they would not be able to afford the same lifestyle that their husbands are able to provide them if they leave.
So even more so of the pressure that society puts on them, you think?
Oh, even more so than the pressure society put on them. Nowadays, I feel like our parents and people are getting more aware as to the problems in marriages, and we're becoming more civilized. We understand
and acceptance.
We're more exposed, we're more accepting, right? But when it comes to financing, and that one is not about your friend. It's not always about what your parents are telling you. It's not always about what your friends are saying, right? But us individuals in the marriages, okay, we don't even have to say this to anyone. But in our hearts and in our souls, we best believe that if I leave right now, oh man, then I cannot live in this fancy, nice house anymore. I'm not going to be able to have the 3 maids anymore. And I think that's why it's high time for women to be able to be self-sufficient and provide for themselves to the point that nobody, no man or no woman, even if it's the other way around, no woman is going to suppress you in an unhappy marriage. And no man is going to suppress you in an unhappy marriage just because you're thinking about the financial gains, the trips, the luxury, the handbags, the shoes.
Watching and you agreeing with Amy, go ahead and comment below and let us know if you actually do believe that is the issue, right? Like we always say, it's all about conversations that matters right here on the community.
Everything that Amy just said, especially the economic aspect of it. For me, I think education is key and economic empowerment, because I keep saying this all the time. When women are economically empowered, then that is a solution to a whole lot of things they face, including violence. Because that is why a lot of girls are being harassed in the streets. This is why a lot of women cannot leave abusive relationships. So when they are economically empowered, there is hope that these things would be reduced.
Sometimes I think like, okay, we don't have shelters, right? Where they can transition from, let's say you can transition the woman from an abusive home or an unhealthy marriage or whatever, to empower her to build her back up. But I do know one thing: if you open a shelter in Gambia, do they even have a shelter in Gambia?
They wouldn't even go. They wouldn't even go.
We have a shelter for the elderly and the kids, but not for, say, divorced women.
And that's actually what we need the most. But I'm just thinking, the first person to do it, you're gonna be cursed. The religious leaders are going to look at you like you're the devil. You're the woman that's getting women out of their marriages, right? Like literally, they will be like they will be holding their beads and praying for you to die. Or
coming from our family where we were brought up that the man is the head of the home. The man is supposed to be your everything, your whole life and your whole world is supposed to be wrapped up around the man. So most of us are still ignorant of the fact that as a woman, you can be your own self. You can have your own self-esteem. You can have your own business, and your business can be better off than that of your husband. So it's not compulsory that you're supposed to be well under the man financially, psychologically.
Women have to empower each other, because we're the first people to be criticizing someone that just got divorced. because I've experienced that. It is the woman that will go around talking about you, how you probably cheated on your man, that's why your man left. We encourage the men on everything that they do, because it's the woman that will gossip about each other. It is the woman that will talk about how you are from a broken family. It is the woman.
Instead of them saying the marriage is over, they'll say, "Kid, they don't have to say something." Right?
Yeah, they don't say you are divorced. They would say you broke your marriage. They would say everything as you are the person that was the instigator of this problem. You are the problem yourself. So we have to start within ourselves.
All comes down to empowering, being financially stable as women. And how can we help each other to be financially stable? That's the first part. And trust me, once that part is settled, a lot of parts will be settled in education, right?
Yeah.
I have seen a woman whose husband cheated and even got another woman pregnant. But because of how much of financial support the man is to the house and to her and her family, she would choose to stay in that marriage and not leave or even seek help or support. It's about time for us women and our parents to listen. Just be an ear to some of these people when they come to you. When someone comes to you and they start talking, there's no need to tell them how much of a horrible wife they are, what they should do, why they should stay. Just listen to them. Sometimes people just want someone to just listen to them, understand where they're coming from, and then find them a solution. There is nothing wrong with having a divorce, just as there's nothing wrong with getting married.
If I want to speak on behalf of the men, they are going through issues that they probably lived with their parents and they thought that was the norm. They don't know any better. So I think it's high time for society to also try to educate men before they get into a relationship, and educate young girls before they get into a relationship. Like here, you have marriage counseling or premarital counseling. We don't have it in our society. I think these are things that we can do as a society to have premarital counseling, or even during marital counseling. If someone has an anger management problem, there should be counseling provided for these.
And cheating problem.
Yes, because people anger problem and cheating problem, and people think it's normal to cheat. So there may be something they're lacking in their relationship or even in their psychological being that to be addressed, and they're trying to fulfill it in a different way. So I think counseling should be accepted in our community, and we should introduce it, and people should talk about it and try to help each other so we can be a better society. Because it's not good either to be divorced, because there's a lot of issues going on with divorces, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that you have to stick in a relationship that is unhealthy.
Yeah, and with no solutions to look into. And Fatu, in Gambia, do they have family therapists, or do they have therapists, marriage counselors? Or besides the religion, because I know that the first thing they do is bring the ustaz, bring the imam to sit you down and talk to you. I'm not talking about that one, because that one, they only come from it's serious. They only come from the religious perspective. They're not going to listen to you and hear what you have to say as the issue. They're not going to ask your husband, what is the issue? They just come to preach on you.
They're not even coming from a religious perspective, because if they're coming from a religious perspective and followed what the book said, then that marriage would have been over. Okay, the fact of the matter is, all they want to hear is, oh, you just need to stay married. Get married, be married.
They're not actually coming from an Islamic perspective or Christianity, because when you go into the Quran or the Bible, you would see how well women are supposed to be respected. I think that's why I said us women need to educate ourselves about our faith. So when men come in and tell us things that are not true, we know. We would not know. They just tell you all these bogus stories just to make you believe in and stay in the relationship. So we should, high time we educate ourselves. Don't rely on the men to educate you about the Quran. You should take it your responsibility to go educate yourself about your faith.
In fact, I keep saying I advise every woman to read Surah and Nisa. Like when you read this Surah, you are able to know.
I love the way Fatu said it. So to Anissa.
Honestly, 'cause I had to educate myself on this because there are a lot of misconceptions going around about how women should be, especially in marriages. And when you read this story, because it's for women, about women, you realize that there's a lot of things that society is putting on women that I think is just ignorance, and just because they want to suppress you even further. So I think the fact that you said, Juka, that any canceling something for married couple, none that I'm aware of. All I know is people go to their parents, especially, and maybe few friends. Solving the issue starts from the roots of the whole matter. To the family level, to the parents, making you feel like there's a whole importance to your existence. And like she said, Nancy, it starts with self. Once you're able to realize all of that, then we are able to solve the bigger picture.
Yes, and thank you Fatu, and hopefully you also are commenting below and let us know what your opinions and ideas are on these issues that we are talking about. But also, hey, if you're watching, listen, I'm always thinking about innovation, ideas, business. Listen, there's a gap here. Go and open a therapy spot or place, whatever you call it, in the Gambia, because they need it. And if you can save a lot of marriages and make them happy, listen, we will advertise for you here on the Sister Show. I'm telling you, it's needed in the Gambia. They don't have it. It's sad, right? It's crazy that they don't have it. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and drop this conversation right here. When we come back, we're gonna do the hot soup. And we're gonna hold these ladies accountable for a lot of things that they say. Maybe not, but we'll see. The hot soup is always a fun conversation. So we're looking forward to that. On that note, we will say goodbye to Nancy. Let us know where our audience can follow you on Instagram, especially, so that they can use your services if you're in Nigeria.
At Lifestyle Declutter Pundit on Instagram, or at Nancy Ovia on Instagram. From there, you can see all my other business pages on there.
Thank you very much, Nancy. And go ahead and click away and make sure that you follow Nancy on IG. And if you're in Nigeria, do support a sister out, the Fab Mom, right here on the Sister Show. We will see you guys on the other side of this conversation. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. We'll be right back.